Hi, and welcome to Rabbit and Moon Tarot. My name is Angel, and I'll be doing a collective read. Now, for those of you who've been here before, you'll know I'll put chapter markers in the timeline and in the description box below. For those who are new to my channel, thank you so much for taking a chance on this teeny tiny little tarot channel. I don't have a huge library of videos, but it's growing every day, and I love to read, so all likes, shares, and subscribes are deeply appreciated. I am going to put a timestamp here for those who are new to my channel and new to tarot for a little bit of a tarot intro. Nothing too intense, but still food for thought. So if you want to stick around and listen, by all means. But if you want to move over right into the reading, you can double tap on the side of the screen with 2 fingers. If you're on your phone, it should take you to the next chapter. And if you're on your laptop or a computer, you could just find the next chapter and scooch on over. But tarot is a tool for self-reflection. It's meant to help guide us when we're using our inner moral compass in pursuit of our own particular brand of happiness. I'm an intuitive reader, so I know tarot and I will read the oracles, but I work with my guides and my ancestors and the universe's energy. So there are only so many cards in a deck. And sometimes an energy will come through, a message will come through that doesn't seem to 100% align with the card, but that's because in that moment, my ancestors or guides are pulling the closest approximation to the card that is in the deck that I have. It's up to me to interpret, to translate, but it's up to you to decide whether or not it actually speaks to you or works for you, or whether or not it resonates. So resonating would be something like you hear something that I said and right away, without even like a moment's hesitation, you know, oh my gosh, that sounds like something that happened to me last year, or that's happening to me right now. Or I've been thinking about this or worried about this and I haven't told anyone, but yet here it is in a reading. That's resonating. That's how you truly know, because there's no downtime. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to like bend it. You don't have to do mental gymnastic to make it fit into your situation. It sounds like I'm talking to you. Now, there are times where in other channels and other tarot readers, I've seen people get really head up in the comments and type things like, you don't know what you're talking about. But the thing is, all of us here on YouTube, the thousands of different readers reading thousands of different cards and tapping into thousands of different energies, it's all collective because YouTube is a public platform. So it's not a one-on-one reading. You know, you don't get to spend time with the querent, the person who wants to know the message. It is a general read. And so what we all do as readers, we all kind of tap into the strongest energy. And sometimes it's one energy, and sometimes at the beginning of the reading, it's one energy, and at the end, it ends up being another. So there'll be days where none of it will resonate. There'll be some days where everything resonates. And there'll be some days that you're like, well, the reading as a whole didn't really resonate, but this part right here, this little 10-minute segment, it's possible. The point being is, if you find yourself getting all like worked up or head up and saying like, ugh, this reader doesn't know what they're talking about, it more often leads us all to kind of understand that maybe there's something inside of us, if we're the ones being, you know, head up or triggered, that maybe we haven't given enough attention and love to. I always encourage people to sit in that energy and be like, why? Why did I just react like that? There are thousands of different readers. There are thousands of different energies. There are thousands of different cards. And all of this is collective read. It's not one-on-one. So you have to ask yourself, when you click on a message or you click on a video and you get kind of like, you know, worked up, why? You know, give your inner world some love and some attention and, you know, kind of navigate through that. But the most important thing, really, is that you are the maestro of your own destiny. No one's going to tell you how to live your life or what you should do. That's why I say you make decisions based on your own inner moral compass. You decide, because fate and destiny are things that I believe in. I really do, but I believe they only take you so far. It presents you the opportunity, the path, the experience, the doorway, for example, or like the timeline, however you want to look at it. But it's up to you to decide what you want to take. It's kind of like going to a buffet, right? You have all these options. No one's telling you have to do anything or have to eat anything. You choose what you want to put on your plate. You choose what you enjoy to eat, that sort of thing. So just remember, you are the maestro of your own destiny. You have full free will and autonomy, and you are co-creating your story with the universe. So what story do you want to write? What do you want to put on your plate to experience? Right? Okay, so let's get into the pre-shuffle. What I'm going to do is get a couple cards to see where the collective is at. See how we're all resonating as a group. Whoa, well, we've got a little stack. And something tells me just to go ahead and take that stack. Let me put this down really quick. Oops, hold on. I just minimized my screen. Couldn't see what I was doing. Okay, so what the first card we'll have, you know what? I'm just going to put these aside because there's a lot here. First card we see is overcoming obstacles. Get back on your feet, gain strength from difficult situations. Ooh, okay, so collective right away kind of feels that you look at what I heard right now. Originally I was going to say your strength is being tested, but no, your inner strength is being tested. I'm hearing self-discipline is being tested. And there's something, it really feels that you all are kind of, I really feel like you are overcoming these obstacles where once you had a really hard time navigating through whatever situation that you are in, I feel like you're gaining kind of a momentum. Something is working on your side to help you through whatever this hard time is. Lessons. Okay. So here he is. So you've been having a hard time with life's lessons. And I like to think that life is the biggest classroom that we have. Life gives us the lessons that we experience in that classroom, right? We learn the most from life. So for those that it resonates, you've been having a really hard time, whether or not dealing with what's on your plate currently or something you've been going through emotionally. I have a feeling that I don't know why I'm getting like a bog or a swamp or a marsh, something that's hard to kind of navigate. If you were walking through a bog or a marsh or a swamp, you're kind of trudging through it, right? The mud and the water is like holding you back. But there's something about over the last little bit, I'm hearing like maybe month or so, hold on. A month or so is what I'm hearing. That it's not been easy, but it's getting easier because you're understanding the lesson. And when I say lesson, that doesn't mean you're being kind of like raked over the coals, that you're being made to suffer. But there are certain things we all need to learn at any given point in our life. And it's the part that makes us suffer the most when we're learning these lessons is not recognizing what the lesson is and trying to navigate through the swamp, the marsh, the bog, blind. So not only are you trudging through, but you don't even know why you're there. You can't see the way ahead. But once you understand what the lesson is, whether it's a lesson in self-love, a lesson in letting go, a lesson in being free, a lesson of relinquishing the illusion of control, whatever it is, once you've identified what the lesson is and you recognize why you're being put to it and why you're moving through it, the lessons don't become easier, but you have perspective. You have an idea of why you're being, so it makes it more clear to navigate. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. So then we have timing. So, okay, so it almost feels like it wasn't just that you were, for all intents and purposes, blind to this lesson, and that it wasn't just that you were in this marsh, this bog, this swamp, blind, but it almost is this like it's almost as if you weren't supposed to yet see the lesson. Like you had to endure, you had to gain some sort of experience, you had to have something under your belt before the timing became clear. I'm sorry, I had that wrong. You had to put in a certain amount of time before it came clear. I'm sorry, it got it mixed up. The message got mixed up in my head. So it's taking you some time to get through to this message, to understand this message, to have it clear. Oh, and I'm hearing that's why I'm getting my words mixed up, is because for all of you, it's like sometimes you had these pockets of, okay, I think I'm going the right direction. I think I'm understanding what I'm supposed to learn, what I'm supposed to move forward, what I'm supposed to achieve. But then there are these little, I heard slips, like you lose footing in the swamp and then you get bogged down a little bit farther. And it wasn't, you just weren't, it wasn't time for you to understand until you had a certain amount of time, a certain amount of experience, a certain amount of something already experienced before you understood what the lesson was. So that when you recognized what the lesson was, you were like, you would be something along the lines of, oh, okay. Well, all of this in the past now makes sense. It was hard. It was difficult. I felt lost. I felt unsure. But now that I understand this is what I was supposed to be doing, all kind of comes to clarity. And then we have facing it. You know something isn't right, so don't be afraid to find out the truth. It will set you free. And again, here we are with these obstacles, these lessons, the timing, and facing it. There was something that you're blind, and I hate to use the word blind to because it seems, I don't mean willfully blind, but it wasn't something you could see right away. It wasn't something you could see right away. There was something that you were supposed to learn, that the universe has been trying to teach you this lesson, whether it is about self-love, self-actualization, letting go, drawing boundaries, relinquishing a sense of control or taking control. Whatever it is, there was a certain amount of kind of trudging through the swamps, the mud, blind, because there was some sort of effort that needed to be put forth to this. Like the universe wanted to know that you were willing not just to understand the lesson, but to push through it. So it almost is, I hear the term trial by fire. Like the only way the universe can teach us these lessons is to give us something that emotionally triggers us. That's literally the only way. Because you don't get a letter in the mail saying, hey, starting January 1st of 2026, the lessons will begin. And so prepare yourself. That's not how the universe works. You don't get a memo. You don't get an email. You just start getting, for all intents and purposes, triggered emotionally or spiritually. And you have to push through it until the timing is right where the universe or your ancestors or guidance said, okay, they've got enough under their belt. They've shown that they've had like kind of this tenacity to push through. Now is the time to kind of pull back the curtain to be like, this is what you've been working towards. This is the clarity that you've been gaining. And now you understand what it is that needs to be fixed. Because again, the facing it card is, that something is not quite right. And you're not afraid to face it. You're not afraid to look at it in the eye and be like, okay, yeah, so these habits that I've had, this old way of thinking, or the way that I react, or maybe it's a situation you're in. Maybe the situation that you're in, whether it's romantic, familial, platonic, professional, something about it isn't quite right. But without all these lessons where you had to trudge through it, you wouldn't have had the strength to be like, okay, look, I've been through the hell, okay? I can face whatever this is. Okay, so this is about collective coming through, learning that lesson, and recognizing that it's time to change. It's time to make a different decision. It's time to be honest with yourself. Let's see. We're going to grab some more for this pre-shuffle. Okay, so we have two. So we have soul connection and beauty. Okay. I'm going to say it again. I don't always try to make my readings about love, but it often is that way because I think that's just the collective that I tap into often. We are squishy people who are in touch with our feelings and are not afraid to talk about it. So this is where we're at. It seems that obstacle that you're trudging through the mud through, that you felt like you had blinders on, was understanding a soul connection. Now, soul connections don't have to be romantic. It could be a best friend. It could be an artistic endeavor with like a team or a like-minded individual. But there's something about this beauty card, charming, graceful, someone who has like a very warm personality that makes me think there's attraction here. We'll find out more as the reading goes on. But the obstacle that the collective had, or maybe someone you were connected to, is the realization that there was a soul connection in your life that you couldn't see. I almost feel like because you couldn't see it, you were trudging through the mud. I'm hearing making it unnecessarily difficult. Like the soul connection was right there, but it almost feels like Rather than taking the paved road with the map and kind of the destination in mind, you chose to off-road. You chose to go through the swamps, the marsh, the bog. And you added the layer of maybe I don't want to say willfully, but I do feel collective. You may have, or whoever's connected to this, energy, you may have had the inkling that this was about a soul connection, and there was like a purposeful, like, no, that can't be true. Probably the reason why you ended up in that bog, marsh, swamp situation where you're trudging through. Like, life seemed to be a little bit harder because there wasn't an acceptance of a soul connection. Again, it could be romantic. It could be like a collective. There was something about recognizing that there was a connection here with someone who is warm, kind, probably very attractive, and has a lot of charisma. There's something about not it. Maybe you did recognize it, but you didn't want to. Does that make sense? Like, you're like, no, that can't be right. That can't be right. Nah, I'm looking too much into it. That kind of stuff. So the obstacle was that you've been trying to learn this lesson, and the lesson was about recognition, recognizing where you have a soul tie. There are moments where, yes, we meet people in our lives where they become love interests because, you share interests, or there's a mutual chemistry. And it was almost as if collective, or someone you're connected to, the obstacle was you or this person was trying to write off this energy as just an attraction, just someone who is really attractive, fun, sassy, or, charming, has a lot of charisma. Like, I feel like there's a lot of, they're just a really charming person. Like, it's fine. Like, it's nothing major. I mean, yeah, I'm attracted to them, but nothing major. But that was the obstacle. The obstacle wasn't just that they're attractive. It wasn't just that they have charisma. It's because they were a soul connection. They were moving into your life energetically to connect with you in some way, whether or not it was to help you self-actualize, learn to love yourself more, learn to accept love, learn to be part of a team, learn how to draw healthy boundaries. Whatever it is that the soulmate or the soul connection was put there for, it was coming in, and there was this kind of want to deny it. Interesting. Okay, so let's get into the reading proper. We're going to get 4 oracles, just like I had previously, or the first part of the pre-shuffle, and then I'll pull some tarot to kind of explain what I feel is going on in the situation. Okay, so let's see. What is going on with the collective? So we have plugged, tuned in, internet connected. Okay, so this tuned in is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing tuned in, connected, not just internet. Although, hold on, this internet connected makes me think that this energy is coming in really fast. This energy feels like you and this person, the soul connection, have the same wavelength. Again, it could be romantic, but it also could be someone that just sees eye to eye. If you're an artist, then it would be someone who shares the vision, kind of thing, Or if you are a musician and you meet other musicians, it's like you can see this being a really like dope collab. So you all are tuned in. You all are on the same kind of wavelength. This internet connected makes me think that this might be something you're doing remotely. Again, whether or not it's romance, business, art, collective, whatever it is, it's from a distance. It's not even just, okay, hold on. Yes, you're tuned in. You're all on the same wavelength. And yes, you guys aren't nearby. But there's like a tuned in. I'm seeing a tuning fork hum, and both you and the person are like in tune. Like you share the same tone. What? Hold on. Why am I hearing that? Like I'm hearing, yes, the word resonate in my mind. I'm hearing when the tone sound is hitting, you all are in tune. Yes. But it's like you guys have the same tone. It's not like you're in tune, that you're complementary sounds. it feels like this energy is the same tune. So like soul tribe energy. But again, we did have soul connection. So this, in a roundabout way, this is kind of telling me that yes, the person that you're connected to, the person that's in your life currently, that's at a distance, that you're trying to collab with, you're trying to grow something with, you're trying to get to know better, you're trying to get closer to. But also at the same time, you're kind of also doubting how intense this connection is. Like okay, this is very specific. This may not resonate for everyone, but it's like you can feel how well you all resonate. Whether or not artist, musician, love, collective, you're all on the same level. You're all on the same vibe. You're attracted to this person. And even with all this plugged in soul connection, soul tribe, there's still this kind of feeling that you all are trying to talk yourselves out of it, that it's not that, I just heard it's not that serious, yo. I think, let's keep going. What do we have here? Oh, hold on. Okay, so soulmate. I wasn't wrong. This is romance. You don't want to recognize this as your soulmate? Collective, what are you afraid of? Like the kind of energy, and you probably can feel it in the way that I'm reading, but it feels a little like hesitant. It's like, oh, no, not really. I mean, it's like they're attractive, they're charismatic, they got a vibe, that we're on the level, we're connected. We are not close by, but I feel like in tune. Again, I'm seeing the tuning fork, and it's not even that it's a harmony. It's the same sound. Y'all have the same inner voice. But someone doesn't want to recognize that. Or someone doesn't... Nope. Okay. Whether it's you, collective, or the person you're connected to. It's not that they don't believe that you're the soulmate or that they feel it. It's something that they hadn't really considered ever could happen to them. Like, so that's stuff for the movies. And that's stuff for, literature. That's stuff that you write about in music. That's stuff, like, you didn't think that could happen to you. Or I'm hearing couldn't happen to you again. Take it as it resonates. Let's keep going. So follow. Follow, and there's the star. Follow the star. Follow your hopes, wishes, dreams, desires. And in a way, when you do that, it's healing. Follow the star. Follow your cosmic path. This is why I feel like collective, or whoever it is, was trudging through the swamp, that bog, that marsh with the blinders on. Like they could have been taking a very clear path to their soulmate, to their soul connection. But because they were for so long, or for at least a good chunk of time, basically being like, no, this can't be. I didn't even think this could really happen, and or didn't think this could happen again, and yet here you are in your feelings, your logical mind being like, no, this can't happen, but your heart and your soul is like, well, I mean, we have the same voice, we have the same tone, our tuning forks are in harmony. You're just on the level. They have a vibe. You feel like really connected. And now this universe is like, follow that hopes, wishes, dreams, desires. Because in a way, it's healing. And then the timing card came out again. But in this situation, it's like, follow your heart. Follow your hopes, wishes, dreams, and desires. It's time. Remember the last time this timing card came up, I was like, okay, well, maybe you weren't yet supposed to understand the lesson yet. But now that you're understanding the lesson, it's not that the lesson gets easier, it's that there's more perspective to it. You understand now that the idea of this person who's in your life that you're very attracted to, that has a lot of charisma, isn't just someone who's attractive and has charisma. Like you feel connected to them in a way that either A, you didn't even believe was something that could happen, or B, you didn't think could happen again. But the universe is like, follow your hopes, wishes, and dreams and desires because it's time. Now is the time. Okay, so what is the challenge right now? for this plugged in card. Let's see. What's the challenge for this plugged in card? So we have the Knight of Wands. The challenge that you have is you don't want to take action. That doesn't mean that there isn't passion behind that and that you don't. It doesn't mean you don't want to, but you're just having a hard time taking action. The want and the desire to take action is there, but there is no movement. The Knight of Wands is an action-based passion card, but this is a challenge. You are plugged in, you are tuned in, you're on the same vibe, you guys have the same tuning fork, harmony, voice. Like you had soul connection, now we have soulmates, and over here we're being follow the star. I mean, it could be Aquarius, maybe you're connected to an Aquarius. But the challenge is taking action in whatever way that means. Does that mean, stepping out of your comfort zone and talking to this person, being like, hey, I actually feel this some type of way about you and it's good and I want to share this and hopefully you feel the same way? Is it you already have this kind of connection? You already know you're attracted to each other, but you're sitting on your heels, not moving towards this person. Maybe you guys have shared, those words of admiration, maybe even love, but there's no movement. This is the challenge. Like, yes, it's upright, but I'm hearing very strongly that there is passion and drive, but there is no movement. You feel connected. You feel plugged in. You're at a distance. There's passion, but there's no movement. Okay, what's the challenge for this soulmate card? Six of Wands. You're worried about whether or not this is actually going to work out. You're worried about the longevity of it. You're worried that maybe you're worried about what other people will say. You're worried that this won't be successful. Your challenge is and why you're not taking action is because I'm getting the inclination that you want to move forward. Again, you want to move forward, but there's no movement. And maybe the reason why you don't want to move forward is because maybe you cannot kind of settle it within yourself. Like, what would happen if this doesn't work out? But again, I don't think that's the case because the universe has been putting you through kind of your paces, making sure that you're strong enough for you. You've been trudging through that mud. You've been trudging through that swamp, that bog, that marsh, blind, and you kept doing it. And finally, the universe was like, let's take off that mask. This is what you've been working towards. This person that you're connected to, that you kept thinking like, no, this can't be. They're just attractive. They're just charming. They're just someone I was once dating or someone I wanted to date or whatever. No, it isn't all. Yes, it is all of that. Yes, but it isn't only all that. It is also a soul connection that has been brought into your life to teach you the lesson that you've been going through. They are an aspect, a main ingredient in this recipe of the lesson. They are part of it. You deciding whether or not you can or can't move forward towards them is part of the lesson. They were put in your life to see whether or not you could find the strength within self, believe in yourself enough, to love yourself enough to go after what you want. They are part of the lesson that you learn. And if you learn the lesson, you could be granting yourself happiness. However, the challenge you have is not taking action and doubting whether or not it'll be successful. Quite literally, the challenge that you have is the challenge and the lesson that you're learning. In real time, that's what it is. All right, so what's the challenge for follow your heart? The Hermit. Your challenge being the Hermit means that you're afraid to look inward, to be like, what is it I actually want? Or looking inward and check it. Look at this. A star. You're afraid to look inward, to be like, how happy would this situation make me feel? What is it that I actually truly want? It's The universe is saying, follow your hopes, wants, needs, desires, because in a way, in its own way, that is healing for you. It's learning you deserve love. It's going after what you want. It's having ambition and the charisma and believing in yourself. But your challenge is you're afraid to go that deep. You're afraid to really dig deep and be like, this kind of connection, this soulmate connection, is something that I want. Am I afraid to admit that to myself? Yes. Is that the whole reason why you were afraid to put that label on the person that you were like, they're just hot. They're just hella gorgeous or whatever. They have a lot of charisma. Is that the reason why you had a hard time affixing a more serious role or more serious title or definition or description to this person? Because if you did, then that would solidify that you felt that you were connected to this person, and that kind of terrified you to think that this idea of soulmates could be real, and or that you would ever feel it again. Because maybe for some of you, you already felt like you found a soulmate, or your soulmate, or the soulmate. And maybe it didn't work out at whatever point in life that happened, and yet you're feeling it again, or those feelings are bubbling up again. Oh, I was going to say, what's the card for timing? And we had one that just flew right out of my hand. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. Now is the time to build that stability. Now is the time to build that stability. Literally, that is the challenge. The universe wants you to take the chance on yourself. And yet, because this is your challenge, even though the universe is like, take the time now to build towards that stability, that is your challenge. Instability. You're afraid of your own instability, or you don't believe yourself to lay down a solid foundation to build upon. Like I'm hearing right now, I'm too shaky. Like I can't build a firm foundation if I'm too shaky. Okay, let me put these up here so that I can get like what does the universe want you to do. Okay, so those are the challenges, right? Oh, hold on, let me get them all kind of sort of centered, sort of. Okay, so what for this plugged in, what does the universe want the collective to do? We have two. So we have the Nine of Wands in reverse and the Nine of Cups in reverse. Okay. Wow, this is really specific. Nine of Wands is about putting in a lot of work and it being hard and you're tired and you want to have your break. You want to be relieved of your duties. The Nine of Wands is, you know, someone who's standing at their post doing their job and they're weary and they're tired. But with it in reverse, it's making me feel that that's not how you're feeling anymore. But with the Nine of Cups in reverse, Nine of Cups, it usually is about emotional fulfillment. But maybe with these together, it's, nope, I'm hearing, with these together, it is, you don't, the universe doesn't want you to feel, oh, okay, yeah. The universe doesn't want you to feel drained just because whatever emotional stability or fulfillment you felt you had in the past isn't present now. I'm hearing it's building. They don't want you to feel tired and drained. They want you to persevere. That this emotional fulfillment, oh, very specific. This emotional fulfillment, what you felt in the past, isn't anything close to what is in your life right now. And it's making me feel like, well, I don't know why I keep hearing this, but this may be, you know, someone who deals with substance abuse, because the Nine of Cups can also be about substance abuse, specifically with alcohol. So the universe either wants you to not to feel like you're drained, not to feel like your life or your happiness is being drawn out of you just because you don't have a current love fulfillment in your life. Who you are and how happy you are isn't contingent on who you're connected with. That starts with you. Everybody else adds to that. The universe wants you to be happy within yourself first, not to let the lack, quote, quote, of romantic partners in your life dictate whether or not you feel sad. They want you to feel good by yourself, even if you don't have someone in your life. However, I'm also getting, for those that it resonates, this may be a very specific group of people, they also want you to understand letting go of like an addictive personality, like having having an issue with alcoholism, that at some point won't be as hard as an endeavor as it was in the past. Like you're healing from that. Does that make sense? Okay, so for soulmates, the universe wants to let you know that this soulmate that you're worried about whether or not it's going to be successful will be successful. This is the Ace of Cups. Sorry, I didn't really show you, and I don't think I showed you the other ones either, but the Ace of Cups. This is the beginning of a beautiful life, should you allow yourself to have it. What does the universe want to say about following your hopes, wishes, and dreams and desires? Strength. Fine. Universe is saying follow your hopes, wish, dreams, and desires, because in doing that and finding yourself and loving yourself and giving to yourself is healing. But your challenge is the Hermit. You're afraid to go really deep. You're afraid to go really deep within yourself to actually figure out what it is that you want, desire, or to admit to yourself that on the deepest level, what you want more than anything is this soulmate. The universe is like, we want you to be strong. Do the work. Do the work. Do the inner strength, the outer strength, do the work. Literally. I said in this one, you were scared, you weren't sure you could do, if you're strong enough to go deep, and then the universe is like, do it. You are strong enough. Believe yourself to be strong enough. I just heard you won't know how strong you are until you actually go that deep, and you'll be surprised at how resilient and how strong and how the path to healing isn't as tumultuous or as tempestuous as you think it is. Okay, for timing, Two of Pentacles. Interesting. I just heard there are two ways you can go about this. I'm going to get a second card. Sorry, not third card. Second card. I got three cards. So the first one is the Seven of Wands. Okay. I literally was going to be like, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And then what we got was that. We can do it the easy way, letting the universe bring in what it needs, or we can do it the hard way, which is the Seven of Wands, which is kind of pushback, kind of defense. So the universe wants you to act now on building the stability. And I literally, when I saw this, I was like, okay, we could do this two ways. The easy way, letting things unfold organically and naturally. Or we can do it the hard way. You can keep fighting the process. But that lesson, that card that we had from the beginning, that lesson will continue on until you recognize that the lesson that you are learning is currently your inability to recognize what you truly want and take action on it. Let's get an oracle for you before we close this out. Okay, we're going to use the vibrational match because lately I've been really feeling that one. So let's see what we got. Oh, there you go. I barely even shuffled it. So we have, don't talk about it, be about it. Move in silence. Actions speak louder than words. Make more moves and less announcements. Talk is cheap. Start putting your words into action. Practice what you preach and stay true to your word. I love the universe being like, we can do this two ways, the easy way or the hard way. Don't just say you want to learn the lesson. Don't just say you want a soulmate. Don't just say you want change. You can say that, but let's see you do it. Let's see you add to it. Let's see you learn. And you've already done half of it. You've already been trudging through that swamp, bog, marsh, with the blindfold. You've been doing all the grit, the drudging up a certain amount of inner world stuff. But now it's time to like really, it's really time to go deep. There's a part of me that makes me feel like it feels like you understand that you as yourself have a lot to work through. The part that seems that the collective has a hard time with is understanding that someone else was meant to be in their life to assist them in their path, and they are meant to assist them in their path. That's the part that seems to be the hardest lesson. They know that there are certain things about themselves that they need to get into order, or that you need to get into order to heal, to alchemize and transmute, however you want to say it. That's the trudging through the mud, the swamp, the bog, the marsh with the blindfold on. You were willing to keep persevering because you knew you had to work through it. The part that it seems to have the hard time is the involvement of another person being part of your journey. That's what it feels like. It feels like, yeah, no, I have all this work to do. I need all this growing to do. But this person is just really hot, very charismatic, super beautiful, but you all have the same voice, the same tuning fork. Remember, the same tune. You guys are on the same vibe. Why do you think that is? Because they're a key element in this lesson, in this healing. They were meant to be part of your life in order for you to grow, to learn to love yourself, to learn how to love other people in a healthy. Anyways, I think you get it. For the right collective, you know what I'm talking about. You know what you need to do for yourself. What you need to start working on is understanding that this energy right here, the soulmate energy, is here for a reason, and it has been here. And that's the reading for today. I've just made a mess of my cards, but that is the reading for today. I really appreciate you all being here. All likes, shares, and subscribes are deeply appreciated. But more specifically, I can't do any of this and read any of these cards without your energy. So your energy and your presence at this reading here today means the world to me. This is Rabbit and Moon Tarot. My name is Angel, and I will see you at the next reading.